How's it going this week?
Good.
Yeah.
We've practiced some, which
Nice.
is good.
Have you done a lot of the recall outside? Have you had an opportunity to do any of that?
Yep,
Nice.
I took her on a walk today actually.
Nice.
And I give her some rope and let her sniff, and then she made a couple errors, but we corrected that.
Okay.
We did the doorway. That took 4 times today, but we finally got it. She screamed most of the time, but today I really gave her the opportunity to not do well.
Yeah.
So we've got more work to do there.
Okay. We can look at that today as well.
Okay. When she's distracted, no.
Sure. Okay.
Here, I mean, yes, I think she does fine when I'm practicing and there's nothing distracting her, but...
In a real life setting.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm inclined then to go to Home Depot today and practice a couple of her training drills inside the store. It's about 2 minutes from here, right down the street. Applying in a busier setting so we can see how we could start to transfer some of this stuff in everyday life.
Okay.
Because you're right, like here in this setting, she's gonna listen. It's not very distracting. When we were doing the commands, when she's in training mode, she'll listen. It just seems to more organic settings is what we're still struggling with.
Yep.
I'd say like if you can swing in, I know it's been cold, but maybe taking her to one new place a week.
Okay.
And if you have a park by your house, and practicing her recall in some kind of setting with higher distractions, real life scenarios. Because we know we've got it down inside. We know we've got it down in the facility. It's just kind of getting her adapted to something a little bit scarier. I wouldn't do a dog park just because I don't really trust the other dogs that may come in.
Yeah. Okay.
It might be just too much of an overwhelmed situation for her. If their dogs are not controlled at all and they come rushing or barreling toward her and they have no control, it may take her down a couple notches. So I'm talking more about like maybe right outside the dog park if you can find a quiet area that nobody's off leash. Or going to, I don't know what's around you. We do Edgewater a lot. And when we can see like areas that we're struggling, that's what we kind of want to focus on. And if we start getting her in a little bit of a more busier scenario, I think she'll thrive from still having direction. A little exposure therapy. So now you have a good setup, you have good structure in place to be able to take her there. So previously, maybe it was a little scary because we had no way to tell her no or set any boundary.
Right.
Now we have a way to set a really clear boundary, and if we can get her to be successful just with healing with us and watching the environment, watching the world go by her, she's going to adapt a lot easier, and her trust will go into us to navigate situations, which will create a more confident dog. Instead of like living a life of avoidance with her, you could be like, you know what, maybe she can come get that cup of coffee with me. Maybe she can go to a patio with me. She has definitely come a long way, and you might have like an old version of her in your mind, which makes it a little scary to try new things with her. But see how much she surprised us? I think she's full of surprises. So I think we could try some of that stuff.
I totally agree. I feel now way more comfortable to take her to a patio.
Yeah.
You ever wash your winter jacket and it just feels like the cleanest thing in the world? What's new?
Pretty good. He still had some troubles with other dogs. There was like a dog, a very small dog, just like at like this distance, and we were on this side, and we were like close to our house over here, and so we like were in the street kind of.
Yeah.
And we had him do a down, and you could tell he was really struggling with the down, and then he like right as the dog was like across from him, even though there was a distance, he like flipped out, and the dog didn't even do anything.
That was like right here, you said?
It was like right down here.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's hard because we don't see as many dogs in the winter.
Yeah, it could definitely be a little tricky.
but he's been, I mean, we've been doing the like downstay when we're across the street.
Yep.
And that's been successful.
That's been fun?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said, you know, he's had obviously some issues with them still.
Yeah.
Which, you know, again, that's normal to an extent, but last time we talked, I remember we were doing the downs, primarily across the street. You said he was pretty much 100% withholding them by the other dogs. Outside of that situation you described to me, are there any other scenarios you could think of where you like totally lost control or anything like that?
I don't think so. I know Misho said he had some trouble with him the other day when he walked him.
Okay.
But he's not here right now.
Yeah,
He
no
might try
biggie.
to catch up with us.
That's fine.
But I don't know like what it was that happened.
Okay. So for you, that situation is the only one you could really think of, or?
Yeah, because like we've maintained being across the street, and so like he's really fine across the street. It's like if it's anywhere closer than that, and he's been good about like when there's been a runner, like I'll just go and like when like if the runner's here, like we'll be right over here and he'll maintain a down.
Good.
For that, but not for another dog at that distance.
That's okay. Well, so again, across the street sounds like it's going fine, so we'll start closing the gap a little bit, you know. So let's go ahead and we'll start walking a little bit, and we'll see if we could find some dogs. There we go. Got it. This looks pretty good so far.
Just like the general one.
Yeah. Even with these dogs and stuff, seems pretty good. Let's go ahead and as soon as we get up here, just pop him into a down just to see how smooth he is about getting into it. Much better about getting into position. I mean, this is progress. This looks good.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and put him into a down.
Down.
And mark with good.
Good.
And why don't you take those treats out here. And go ahead and give him one. So what we're going to do is if he chooses you over that dog, so keep your eyes on him, mark with good.
Good.
Perfect. So we want a reward for the engagement around the dog. Go ahead and reward again.
Good.
Excellent. Is that another dog down there? No, just people. All right, let's keep walking.
If we go down that way.
Yeah, for sure. Seeing how motivated he is for those treats, this is going to really help us get even a little bit further with this. So the idea is we're not bribing him with the treat, right? We're rewarding for correct behavior. So that reward isn't going to come out until that attention is shifted to us.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely see people bribing their dogs, but it works.
Well, there's
They're like,
sure. There's a lot of methods as far as how you could implement rewards for things. If we were really struggling with him, sometimes using it as, you can call it a bribe or a distraction or whatever it may be, it can help you get a little leverage initially.
Okay.
But if we want to really kind of take this stuff to the next level, we want to make sure he's making the correct choice and we're reinforcing for the correct choice. And given the stage he's at, where he's doing a pretty good job of keeping it under control around them, where we're not needing to really get all that leverage, we could jump right into that stage of things. So same deal, as this dog passes, we'll go kind of off a little ways, maybe near the street or up a driveway a little bit. And then if we're gonna be really close, let's go ahead and pull off here, then put him in a down right over here. Get yourself prepped plenty ahead of time. Yeah, and in a lot of cases, other people are going to cross. Now, same deal, as this dog gets closer, if he gives you engagement over the dog, go ahead and reward for that again. So Keep your eye on him here.
Is that engaged?
Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. This is good because these dogs are a little bit worked up too. It's awesome. Good reward again for that. Because now he's really giving you good engagement. He's saying, I don't even care there's a dog over there.
Yeah.
Which is how we want to see this shift. You know, just, what, 2 sessions ago or something, we were getting him to do the down, but he was struggling with even holding the down around the dogs. Now we have him at a place where he's holding it willingly and giving you good focus. That's phenomenal. Why don't you arc around this way just a little bit, create some distance, and stay loose on your leash. Nice. And we'll make a left here. It's great.
It's like a nervous guy. Like, sometimes he pushes up against me because he's like trying so hard to be good and not like
Yeah.
on people.
I think that's normal though. I mean, you know, my dogs do all that stuff from time to time. It's I think a lot of times we look at like where is our dog's like home base with things, you know, as far as like their state of mind and everything. And, you know, a lot of these issues he's having, whether it's reactivity or, you know, being concerned around people or anything like that, are coming from him just being like genetically a little skittish. So knowing that he's that way and that we're not starting off with this just like super genetically confident, stable dog, you know, he's probably never going to hit the point where he is just 100% totally chill, totally confident, right? But he can control the impulses. He walks past people fine. He's holding his positions really great around other dogs. You know, we got a little bit of work to do with that still, but he's making strides with it. So that's all that I look for with stuff, is that he keeps it under control. Very good. Hi. Then watch him. If he gives you attention, you'll go ahead and mark with good. Perfect. Excellent. Awesome. There's a real funny looking dog over there. This is great. Perfect. That was really good. All right, let's keep walking. And go ahead and come to a stop and do it down.
Down?
Mark and reward. I mean, this engagement around this dog right now is awesome.
Yeah.
Mark again. So especially as we start implementing these rewards, because you can see it's starting to click, like, oh, I look at mom, I get a reward. I look at mom, I get a reward. We want to keep the reward frequency pretty high. Awesome. Did you get it? You gonna get it again?
Did we wear a dog sign and him barking?
Oh yeah.
I did. I got it.
Awesome. Yeah, this is great. That's so good. All right, let's keep cruising. Superstar. You mentioned at the beginning of the walk that you had a little trouble with him the other day.
Walk, I think he was just excited for the walk.
I understand.
And he was just super like wound
Yeah.
up
Sure.
and just, you know.
He struggles.
I understand. I
He's about
understand.
to go for a walk,
Yeah,
and he's
like-
supposed to stay in bed.
Are you guys both equally working on that? Like when you get ready to take him for a walk, are you focused on like getting him into position and chilling him for a second before starting?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am. I think you are
So I've been also slowing him down when he runs down the steps because like
Sure.
he comes down with like a lot of energy.
He's like a
I understand.
cartoon.
Yeah.
So I'm like slow, and then he'll like slow down.
Sure.
And then at the door he gets again super like
Yeah, jazzed up.
you know, and
So as far as that's concerned, so obviously I'm glad you're working on that. That is something that we talked about. Try to focus less on energy, right, and more on specific things he's doing. Because, like, for example, we took our dogs somewhere yesterday, and when we're getting them all ready to go and stuff, they were pretty fired up also. Now, until I gave them something specific to do, I didn't care that they were fired up. The second that I gave them something specific to do, whether it was that come command or a heel or a down or something, that's where I then implemented like the accountability from the standpoint of corrections and stuff, right? Because you can't really correct for like, you're too excited, because it's not something they could really perceive. It's not something they could like be like, oh, well, instead of getting myself to a level 10 excitement, I get myself to a level 8 excitement, you know? But if they're getting excited and then jumping, right, or getting excited and not holding their sit position or something like that, then we could hold them really accountable for that. So the biggest thing that we're adding in today is obviously we're closing the gap a little. So instead of doing it on the other side of the street, we're doing it on the same side of the street. And then we're adding in rewards for attention on us. Let's go ahead and go off to the side and get them ready for this dog to pass. Very good. So as the dog comes by, if he notices it and then chooses us over the dog, we're adding rewards in for that here, right? Yeah.
I should have had you bring more. I thought I had a lot.
And we were just, I mean, just a minute ago up at the corner over there was some dog freaking out behind a fence. We were like 5 feet away from him, and he was staring at her the whole time. It was awesome. Yeah, this is really good. And he's not a dummy. He knows there's a dog there right now, you know? This is great. So this is where we start to change the perception, right? So if he is insecure around the dogs and stuff like that, in addition to us telling him, hey, you got to keep it under control, it's not so bad also, you know? Very good. Nice. And you can tell he's starting to anticipate the reward, obviously, which is phenomenal. Hey, gotta get him out faster.
I'm out.
oh no.
I'm sorry. I really had a lot.
That's all right. He did great. We're gonna turn around and start walking back anyways. I think he crushed it today.
Yeah.
I think that was really, really great. So biggest thing to add in here is going to be your rewards, obviously, and then start closing your gap a little bit. High frequency with the rewards. We really want that attention glued to us around the dogs. And we'll see what we get with adding that in, obviously. But I think it looks really good. You gotta take a chill pill, buddy. You filming?
Of course.
Okay, so we get a vlog exclusive right now because my lesson forgot about me and we can't do the lesson, so we gotta fill the time with something else. So what I'm gonna do is show you guys a little bit of progress update on our fighting brothers that are in. We have Arlo and Ace, 2 big strong dogs here for getting in fights with each other. And there's a lot of different dynamics as far as the things we're working on to help get them past it. Luckily, neither of them were like outwardly aggressive towards each other, or like at that point of fighting that you'll see sometimes where the dogs are really grudgy on sight, things like that. They seem pretty comfortable around each other. Ace is a little apprehensive of Arlo, not so much the other way around, but it's not that much of a big deal as far as that side of things, which is positive because that means that the issues that they're having are very environmental at this point, meaning that it's not so much that the dogs just don't like each other or are just aggressive or anything like that. It's that things going on in their environment are causing them to feel like they need to compete with each other, which is resulting in fights. Based on the couple of big fights they had at home that the owners described to me, a lot of that is centered around resources. So not enough control around feeding time, not enough control around affection, not enough supervision, miscellaneous things like that. So we've been working on, we started off with a lot of obedience commands with them, just focusing on coexistence stuff, bed stays together. Then we transitioned to leash walking together, teaching them to walk together with the same person, obviously, and kind of ignore each other. And then we've been focusing on the actual socialization side of things, which is just getting them out and getting them interacting and stuff. So we are going to take them out here in a second and get cruising on that. A lot of times when we're dealing with fighting issues, we have, again, lots of dynamics we're working with. Again, neither of these dogs are very aggressive towards other people, other dogs, anything like that. But what we do have is the dynamic of one dog, this guy in particular, very, very rambunctious, right? Very, very wild, right? He's super, super playful and stuff, and acts very impulsively when he gets into those states of mind, obviously. And to a dog that could get a little bit insecure about stuff, in the case of Ace over here, that can be very off-putting to them initially. If you have one dog that's constantly all over the place, rambunctious, the owners are constantly giving attention and getting him riled up, and that energy makes him feel uncomfortable, that will cause him to try to jump in and control that energy. So that's a part of multi-dog household management proactively before dogs are getting into fights with each other, is you want to control those arousal levels and make sure that the dog that may get a little uncomfortable by this kind of playful, jumpy, bouncy energy understands that you're going to handle that ultimately, while naturally raising this dog's threshold to that kind of stuff in the first place. So we're going to go ahead and let him out next here. Come on, bud. We'll just kind of let him hang out. No. Now, you filming still? Did you get that right there? Okay. So again, we talked about their fights that they've had in the past. One of the big ones in particular being centered around food. And we talk about this all the time, right? When you get into food guarding issues, whether it's amongst two dogs, whether it's resource guarding towards people, anything like that, it is the impulsiveness around food. It is the state of mind of this dog feels like all food that is around is just inherently theirs and they can take it whenever they want to, right? So anytime we're dealing with these types of things, the first thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that these dogs realize that unless food is given to you, it is not inherently yours. And until I give it to you, even if it is something I'm going to give to you like your bowl or whatever it may be, there has to be impulse control around it. And that, again, reduces the likelihood that the dogs are going to compete over those resources in the first place. Now, if I'm not mistaken, both of these dogs are fairly young, and up until just about 3 weeks ago or so, neither of them were fixed, right? So you also get into the aspect of you have two power breed dogs that are starting to go through maturity. They have that buildup of testosterone because they're not fixed, which also can cause increased likelihood that these dogs are going to try to just start competing with each other as they come of age. So they did get fixed right before coming here. That was something that we recommended that the owners do. Which, you know, I'm not the biggest believer that fixing dogs solves problems or is gonna, you know, make everything all rainbows and butterflies or anything like that. But even if it gets you like this much, I always say it is a good idea to do it if you're struggling with issues that are more kind of dominance, competition based, stuff like that. These are all the things that you need. It's got bike gloves. We've got e-collar. We've got muzzle. We've got leash and prong collar. We've got grabber. We've got drag line in the crate. Come on, buddy. Let's go, big guy. Come on. Come on, let's go. Thor, come. No. Thor, come. Good. Okay. Let's go make dreams come true, Paige. Good. No. Thor. Come here. Come on. No. Come on. Sit. No. Sit. Sit. Good. Good job, buddy. Good job, dude. So I want to keep all, I want to keep all of that in pretty much. I mean, obviously the messing up the sit and stuff doesn't really matter, but like, you see how nervous he is, but you see how much he's keeping himself together, right? So we're giving him something to focus on. We know how scared he gets when putting collars on, clipping things, putting the muzzle on. So by getting him to focus in before I start making it a huge fight by going to put this muzzle on and stuff, what I can do is get his brain focused on something else, get that thing on, and then as soon as I get that thing on, again, no corrections or anything in this process, make sure he realizes it's not that big of a deal, right? Then once we have that muzzle on, okay, good job, bud. I can get him tooled up with everything else. Because again, his primary problem is collars, things like that, obviously. Sit. No, sit. Good job, buddy. Okay. Sit. No, sit. Good. Good job. Good. Nope, sit. No, sit. Good. Okay. Very good. All right. So now we're going to start just doing some really easy work with him. Thor, bed. Good. So this is the process in which we're going about getting him situated with all of his training tools and everything for safety purposes. A lot of people ask, you know, like when you get a dog in that can be as intense as he can, you guys obviously saw the before in the intake process with him where he was really going after us, overdoing collars and stuff like that. Like, how do we stay safe with dogs like that? And a lot of it comes down to just having really clear routines in which we do these things, right? He is far from perfect with this kind of stuff. He definitely does not like having it done, but we have a way to be able to focus him in. We have a step-by-step process in which we go about getting him situated with all of his training tools so that we could then get into our session and start to change the actual perception he has of this training being bad, right, or scary or anything like that, so that putting them on in the first place starts to predict doing fun things. So obviously we have an e-collar on, we have a prong collar on. All of our corrections at this point are very minimal. We're more introducing these tools than anything, meaning all the pressure I'm using on both the collar with the leash as well as the e-collar, okay, good job, are very minimal. My e-collar is locked at a level 2 right now. All I'm trying to do is get him used to the sensation in conjunction bed with some of these positions, using very low negative reinforcement in order to obviously help him do whatever thing it is that we're trying to get him to do. And from a training standpoint, he really is thriving. And once we start working him after a couple minutes, he really loosens up. It is just that process of getting him situated with the collars. He's so scared of it for whatever reason. And we just got to start to work to shift that. And a part of it comes down to being able to safely do it without a lot of conflict. Okay, come on. So massive strides from an obedience standpoint, right? We'll just start off with just his reactivity alone that he came in with. Forget the collaring related issues. He's picking things up extremely well. And this dog has had 0 previous training before coming here. I know a lot of people will look at this and be like, oh, he's been here for, I think, 6 days now or something like that. Actually, no, today is officially the start of his 7th day is today, right? A lot of people would look at this and be like, there's no way you got him that good in 7 days from a training standpoint. Clear communication can get you a long way. We also push the envelope a lot faster with this dog than we would a lot of other dogs from the standpoint of getting him working in different environments to help him overcome these hurdles and not plateau and get to a place where it's like in the training room he's really good, but outside of that he's not as good. So we have been rushing that process a little bit. Again, he's got a lot of work to do with the collaring stuff still, but as he continues to enjoy the training process, like you can see the working and stuff, engaging his brain, he wasn't super stressed out doing it. And then as soon as we start getting him taking food, because he's still a little hesitant to do that, that's going to really expedite that process and then counteract the collaring related issues. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the process of decollaring him up, basically the reverse of what we did when we got him out for the session here, and we'll show you how that looks. Catching my breath, I'm losing my breath. Okay. It's the same deal. Bite gloves to start. And these bite gloves are obviously not going to 100% save you in a situation if a dog tries to bite you, but they will help you quite a bit. They're pretty thick. They're like Kevlar welding gloves. And additionally, obviously these muzzles are not totally bite proof, so as we go about putting them on, there's still a risk if you get a finger in one you can get bit. So if you're working with a dog that is really quick and snappy, sometimes they can help you out quite a bit as far as feeling a little bit more confident. Come here, bud. Sit. Good job. So getting him focused on that sit position, going through the process of getting this, getting it situated over his face. Again, the squirminess is normal. I'm not going to push it too fast. I'm just going to show him again, it's not optional. No, sit. Good. And you see eventually he kind of just gave up, laid down. And again, this is not because we're, you know, correcting him super hard or anything like that. All this has to do with, good job, buddy, is the fact that he's realizing we're going to be more persistent than him. That's it. There's so much of that goes into this. You heard us talk about it with the owner when he dropped off, and we had the owner put the muzzle on the first time because the owner couldn't even do it, and he was resisting like all hell with him, right? And we just told him, hey, you gotta just keep at it until he realizes that all that fight that he's giving you isn't gonna work. Now the positive is in this case, we've taken it from all that fight being him thrashing around and flailing and nipping and all that like he was doing with the owner to he's just moving his head a lot, but he's keeping his brain focused on that sit, which is helping us to gain a little bit of leverage, which is why he's not reacting so intensely when we go to strap it. But nonetheless, okay, he still has given us quite a bit of resistance, and we just have to be persistent with him about it. So obviously we got the muzzle on, so we could take off his training collars and get him switched back to his drag line. Good job, buddy. Let's go ahead and take this guy. Get it clipped on. Good job, buddy. Take this one off. Good job. And we can go about popping that muzzle off. Let me get this thing off of you, dude. And that's how we do it. So it's a process, but this is the stuff we do when we're working with dangerous dogs, more or less, right? A lot of people ask, again, how do you keep yourself safe? Exactly how we just did right there. Come on, buddy. Let's go ahead and put him back here. Come. And then even though these collars are off, good. Come. I still am following the same routines here, and I'm enforcing all of our commands all the same as I was when they were on. And this is how we avoid creating any sort of collar wiseness where he knows when those training collars are on, we mean business, and when they're not, we don't. Sit. Good. Okay, is by holding him to the same exact routines and protocols. So I hope you guys liked it.